Hello, everyone. Hola todos. Welcome back to the Tiki Tapas Podcast. This is episode 6. And if you forgot what we said last episode, we are now on streaming platforms as well. So, Rahul, how does it feel to finally be a podcast, finally be on a podcast, be part of a podcast that is on Spotify and iTunes as well?
Oh, I didn't even realize we were on Apple Music as well. But yeah, delighted that we're finally on Spotify. It feels like we've finally reached that kind of target after promising it every week for the last month and a
Hmm.
half.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if you don't want to see our faces while we tell you about La Liga, then you don't have to.
Yeah, you can just put it in the background. You can just, while you're driving your car or while you're doing whatever chores you got in your house, you can just put it on your Spotify, play it. And we have a grand total of 5 followers in our first week. So, you don't want to miss out. You want to be part of the first 100. So make sure you go follow us on Spotify right now if you're watching it on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, then make sure to go subscribe to our YouTube. It's a interchanging dynamic that we are trying to build with the community. But onto the football now. Onto the football. What we say here. European nights are once again back after 2 weeks of international break, 1 week of domestic football. Six Spanish teams that we emphasize this every time we talk about European campaign this season because it is such a great achievement, right? Six teams from Spain are playing their respective quarterfinals in 3 tournaments. Rahul, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm really excited. And I think this weekend's La Liga action for those six teams was a good insight into kind of what we can expect from those teams. And I think there were a certain few who had one eye on Europe
Mm,
when they kind of made their lineup decisions with the kind of way they played.
mm.
And yeah, I think now we've reached the crunch time in Europe, we're going to see what some of these teams are made of. And there are a few that I'm expecting good things from, and there's a few who I think this
Yeah.
might be the end of the road for them.
Yeah, we did see a trailer of what one of those fixtures would look like because Barca and Atleti faced off in La Liga with Barca winning that game, which now they will play again 2 more times, the first and the second leg of the Champions League. Barca will take on Atleti. Real Madrid will be taking on Bayern as well, but we don't really talk about those big games here, do we? Like everyone is talking about these games. We kind of want to focus on teams like this, El Betis, also Celta Vigo, and as well as Rayo Vallecano, the humble, modest little team from Madrid playing in Europe for only the second time in their history. So let's pick Celta Vigo to talk about first because Rahul, you were of course present when they beat Valencia 3-2 yesterday at the Mestalla.
Yeah, and what I didn't realize until after was that it was actually the first time Celta have won at Mestalla in over a decade.
Oh,
And it's the sixth ever time they've won there in the entire history of Mestalla. So, in historical terms, that's a monumental result for Celta.
yeah, yeah.
In terms of their European chase, that's also a brilliant result for them.
Hmm.
And it also came where they rested their best players for Europe. And
Mm,
they played in second gear with the foot off the gas. And they still cruised through. So that was something I pointed out on Twitter yesterday, where
mm,
I really laid into Valencia because I thought they were really poor. And
yeah,
especially given the context of Valencia at home, Celta are prioritizing Europe from, you can tell from the way they set up,
yeah,
and they still managed to win. And I think it really bodes well for them in Europe that they can now go into that game, make a few changes again. They've got their rotation pretty spot on throughout the campaign,
hmm,
and they've got players who are now really in good form. And yeah, I think they've got Freiburg away first leg, home second leg. Freiburg, to be honest, are not a team I know too much about. I was speaking to a German guy yesterday who said they are pretty good. I don't think it'll be an easy tie by any
mm,
stretch, but from what I saw from Celta yesterday, they are, and as we saw in the previous round as well, they are a team capable of kind of adapting to a situation, improving in the second half, and I think that suits them so well over 2 legs.
hmm,
And I actually thought in the first half yesterday they weren't great at all, and partly because of the changes.
mm.
But then, yeah, Fer Lopez came on, Iglesias came on, Svedberg was on, and then yeah, they ripped Valencia apart in the
Yeah.
start of the second half, and they saw out the win. So yeah, I think Celta really are the team to watch in Europa League.
Yeah, I think this will give them a lot of confidence, given the fact that, as you said, they rested their key players in the hopes that it's Valencia away. It's, as you said, it's a place that they have only won a handful of times in their history. But knowing even that this is not a stadium that they are really comfortable in, they had that confidence. That okay, La Liga for us is between positions 5, 6, and below, because they're not going to make it to the top four. They think that the maximum they can fight for is a Europa League place, because Celta, Betis, they keep on interchanging that position in the league. And hey, if you win the Europa League, you don't even have to worry about fighting for fifth and sixth. You just go straight to the Champions League. So Celta, they took a gamble with Valencia, and it paid off, even though Valencia pulled the game back to 3-2 right at the death. Umar Sadiq, I saw, kind of had a few good chances towards the end, but you know, I don't know, was it frustration from some of his teammates who was just like pointing fingers at him, and they're like, "No, pass it here, don't shoot, take the shot, do it here." But he had some pretty good chances towards the end. But yeah, it was just a Guido Rodriguez show on the way.
Yeah, Sadiq came on, and to his credit, he injected a bit more kind of intensity into Valencia's attack, where they
Mm,
were really lacking any sort of box presence before.
mm,
But there was one really bad moment from him where
yeah,
he had the ball kind of dribbling into the box.
yeah,
Danjuma is on the
yeah,
left in acres of space. He's screaming for the ball. And Sadiq is so kind of blindsided that he doesn't see him, doesn't hear him, or he just completely ignores him. And he shoots and the shot's blocked. Whereas if he
yeah,
passed Danjuma, I think it's a goal.
yeah,
And they, as much as I praised Celta and slammed Valencia, they did have the kind of openings to get back into the game. But
yeah.
Valencia's pack was so, every time they got to the final third, they kept making the wrong decision again and again. And the fact that it's their big defensive midfielder who's scoring their goals really is a worrying sign for them.
Yeah, there's just I guess there's a problem of like the lethality in the final third for a lot of teams right now, actually. Because if we just talk about Valencia, but if we talk about Rayo Vallecano, another team in Europe in the Conference League, that is very small, humble team from district of Vallecas, playing in Europe only for the second time, as I said, in their history. They are playing. Who are they playing? They're playing AEK Athens, and they beat Elche over the weekend, scrappy 1-0 victory. And before that, they nearly got a result at Barcelona, again losing 1-0. Um, I am starting to observe a pattern with the Rayo Vallecano. I'm sure you have too. That they are good at going forward. They're good at kind of taking the game to their opponents. But it's the same problem in a way with Valencia. It's like when they get to the final third, they don't know what to do with the ball. Even if they do, they are kind of not that adept at finishing. So it's a problem that Rayo. Do you think they are gonna face issues because of this now, as they go deeper into European competition, and also as they try to save their spot in La Liga?
Yeah, I think their biggest issue is at number 9, and it has been throughout the season, and that's what's holding them back from being further up the table. Because the way they're coached, the way they're set up, the way they're organized, they are a good team. They shouldn't
Mm,
be worried about relegation, but here they are. I think
mm,
the win over Elche was massive, just not only for the 3 points, but just so they can have a bit of breathing space away from the bottom 3.
mm-hmm,
But the game itself against a 10-man Elche, they nearly didn't win,
mm-hmm,
despite dominating the game, despite having all the possession, all the shots. And they need a solution up front because Alamau has just not been it. He's not a finisher. His performance is really lacking. His movement, I thought, was terrible against Elche.
mm,
And Randy Enteka came on and he scored, and it was actually a really well worked goal. It was intelligent movement up front from him. And I posed this question on Twitter and I got shot down a little bit where I said, should he be the solution at number 9? And the
yeah.
reality is that goal was his first goal in over a year. So
Oof.
if those are the options, then I do worry what they will do. I do think Jorge de Frutos is, well, for starters, their best player, a very
Yeah.
good finisher, good attacking threat, a very intelligent player. As a false 9, Would he be better than the other options? Possibly. Would it take him away from his best position as well? Yes. So is it a solution? It's tough to say. But I think in Europe, that's going to be the key. I was speaking to a bloke called David. Shout out David. I know he's a listener of the podcast.
Oh, hello, David.
Who is a fan of Athens and IEK Athens. And he told me that they will struggle if Rayo kind of press on the front foot as they normally do. And so I think if Rayo play their best game, if they do what they normally do, which is kind of dominate a game, zip the ball about a bit, and play on the front foot, then they have every chance of getting through. But in Europe, you need your players to step up in the big moments to take your chances when you're given them. And right now, they're not doing that consistently enough. So it's going to be a tough one. But I think now they have the distance away from the bottom three that they can go all guns blazing in Europe. And because I don't know when they will next be in Europe, it's a massive, massive game for them.
Yeah.
And it might be a decade before they're back in Europe the way they're going. So if they can win and get into the Europa League as a result and win a European trophy despite all the problems they've had off the pitch, then it'll be one of the great stories of European football this season.
Oh, it would be wonderful. I mean, I shared this before as well. How many times I've been in the Vallecas district and I have seen how passionate they are with their football, with Raito, the small little team, and just winning, just being in La Liga for them, they take so much pride in it, and now they have an opportunity with the safe space that they have created between themselves and the relegation. It's still not that safe. They're 12th, I think, and the thing with La Liga is their middle to lower teams, they can shift places so quickly. Just two results in any direction, and then the 12th place team is fighting for 16th, 17th, so yeah, I mean, Rayo will have that sort of freedom now a little bit, that they can completely go on the front foot against Athens. I think Athens will still have a bit more quality. They finished higher in the league table as well. But hey, you never know. It's a European competition. All you need is two lucky days, two good days, and then you're next thing you know, you're in the semifinal. So good luck to Rayo. Hope to see them proceed further. But one more thing that we have to talk about as we talk about Europe is Betis. They did not really get a good result against Espanyol. In fact, they drew. Do you think this result was more of like, I think it was more of like a safe kind of play. They don't want to like exhaust their key players before the big tie against Braga, which is not going to be easy as well. So what are your thoughts on Betis going into this week?
Well, I think they were poor against Espanyol, and Espanyol got away with a draw. They're obviously in a crisis of their own. But the way Betis kind of played the game, they were so flat going forward. And I'd understand it a bit more if they definitely had an eye on Europe and rotated a bit and just thought, right, get through this game and then we focus on Europa League. But they played almost their strongest team, apart from Abde. Everyone else is probably going to start in these Europa League games. And they were just so flat going forward. There was hardly a point in the game that I thought they were going to score. And it's like I just said a few minutes ago, in Europe, you've got to be decisive in those moments. And I do worry that they're not going to be, because they've been so inconsistent all season in La Liga. And I think they will end up being fine in terms of Europa League. I think the way the table now, they can afford to take their foot off the gas in La Liga. And there may have been a bit of that, which is why they were so flat. But I do worry, if they go and lose the first leg, will they come back from it as they did in the previous round? But yeah, I think it will be up to their big players. It'll be up to Abde, it'll be up to Anthony, Cuco Hernandez. If they return to their best form in this tie, then they can decide it. But Braga also, they are a good team. They've got some really good players. And I think it's going to be a fascinating one in the sense that they're two clubs who historically have been kind of there in Europe, but they've not really gone and kicked on, where Betis haven't won the European trophy in, well, ever.
Yeah,
And they got to the Conference League final. That was the best it kind of got for them. In the Europa League, they've always been a bit underwhelming compared to their city rivals.
yeah,
But this is a good chance for them where they've had a bit of an underwhelming La Liga campaign, a bit of an inconsistent one. They were thrashed in the Copa del Rey. And if they can get through this round, then
yeah,
and it'll be better Celta, I think, as the draw.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's all La Liga semi-final.
yeah.
And that'll be brilliant for us. That'll be amazing
At
for
least
us to
one
see
La
that.
Liga team going to the final would be a good thing.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think. And if they were to get through, if it was to be a Betis Celta semi-final, given where they are in the league, where they have been in the league in the last few years, Betis would like to think that they would beat Celta. But right
Mm,
now, I think Celta are the side in a better form and the side
100%.
maybe even better equipped to handle Europe.
Yeah, but Betis, the problem with Betis is I read a stat the other day. Just yeah, it's not a stat, but it's like an observation. Is that they have won only 2 of their last 9 games in all competitions before this fixture. One of those games that they won was the Panathinaikos one, and their last win in La Liga came almost in what, February, so almost 2 months ago. So February 16th, was it, something like that? So that's like a long time for a team like Betis, who is, fifth and sixth all the time. They can't go higher. That's what, maybe, if they had had a good run in that time, they could have been contesting with Atletico Madrid for the fourth place. You never know. Yeah, but it's just the turn of the year hasn't been great for Betis, even though we find, as we talk about them, they're in the Europa League quarterfinals. But if you just remove that, and if you just look at the recent performances, I think it has been a very underwhelming kind of last few months from Pellegrini and his boys. But you know, all it takes is one or two few good performances in the European nights, and then we'll be talking about a potential Betis in the Europa League final. So let's hope. Let's hope that happens. Celta, Betis, Rayo, and then one of the teams we have to lose this round is Atleti Barca. One of them will have to go home, and of course Real Madrid on the other side. So I think that covers our European kind of looking forward to what happens in Europe this week and the next week as well. What do we do next, sir? Do we talk about the moment of the week now, or do we talk about our match of the week? What do you want to do, Cole? How do you want to proceed?
I think let's talk about our moment of the week because it was a really good moment.
Yeah, that kind of also will give us a moment to talk about our favorite Unk striker. As loyal listeners, watchers of the podcast will know, we are big fans of Vedat Muriqi on this podcast. So our moment of the week is that dagger at the end of the Real Madrid Mallorca game when he scored brilliant first touch, brilliant finish, straight past Lunin to win the game for Mallorca. And but that's not the moment that we really want to focus upon. What the moment we want to focus upon is immediate aftermath of that goal, where he just celebrated with his teammates, but then fell to his knees, started crying, and could not be held back, because it has been a very emotional week for Muichi, right? The almost failing to take Kosovo to the World Cup, falling at the last hurdle, and he himself said in an interview that from the outside I may look hard and ugly, but I'm just a man with a kind heart, and I wanna show my emotions and I want to win, and it has been hard for me. So Rahul, Murici is one of your guys, one of the guys you really love, and what do you want to talk about the moment of the week?
Well, I think it shows that in the way he plays and everything, he's someone who plays with his heart on his sleeve. He's so passionate. He's
Mm,
such a leader of the squad.
mm,
And you can tell everyone loves him. His teammates love him. His fans love him. And he's had a tough few weeks because just before the break,
mm,
he missed a decisive penalty against Elche, which would have been
mhm,
huge for Mallorca. So he was already devastated there. Then Kosovo failed to make the World Cup. That was heartbreaking for him. And so coming into a game like this, off the back of what would have been probably his worst week of the season, just emotionally, mentally,
mhm.
results wise, yeah, for him to then not only score a winner, but an unbelievable
Un-
goal don't think anyone's. I think this is actually the kind of climax of the moment and the focus on Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's talked about Muriqi's first touch to set himself up for a shot. It's incredible. And he was
Yeah.
actually brilliant all game. I thought Mallorca were just really good all game. They played such an intense way under Demichelis that Real
Mm,
Madrid just didn't compete with them.
mm.
And yeah, I think if I could have picked anyone to score that winner, it would have been Muriqi.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was just such a wonderful moment for football, for Mallorca. It's one that was really massive for Mallorca in the relegation battle as well. And if they end up staying up, that could be the moment that they look at as a decisive one that gave them 2 extra points and also brought Muriqi back to life and
Mm.
potentially sparked them. And let's see how they get on the next few weeks. But if their results keep kind of picking up, then yeah, I think that will be the moment they look back on.
Yeah, and talking about Morici, he's also kind of like going up in the record books as well. He's 1 goal behind Samuel Eto'o for the most goals for a Mallorca player in La Liga, and I think he's like 16 behind overall. So one more season, and then he can just completely establish himself as a proper Mallorca legend, which he is deservedly. He might be an unk, he might be 31 years old, but hey, he's still got it, and he's like balling around. His 19 goals this season, 4 behind Mbappe for the Pichichi. You can't rule that out as well. You can't, a few more goals, and then they're competing neck and neck. Would be
And
lovely
if
to
he
see.
does win, the Pichichi, I know exactly how he's going to celebrate because we've already seen a video doing the rounds where
Yeah.
it makes me wonder what is the best kind of job in football if you're not going to be a star player. And previously, I would have said third choice goalie at a top club.
Yeah.
Now I think it's star player at a team where you're just in the most unbelievable location because Muriqi, the pirate, he's on a boat in Mallorca, and Mallorca, the sky is blue, the water's crystal clear, and he's celebrating his goal on the back of a boat. And fair play, because that's exactly what I would be doing.
That's the
And
dream life.
I want him to be holding the Pichichi trophy on that boat later
Yeah.
this season.
Oh, that would break the internet. Man, it would be amazing to see. I mean, 4 goals or behind with 8 games to go is not an impossibility. You never know how Mbappe's knee holds up towards the end of the season. Maybe he'll take a break just before the World Cup. If the La Liga is done and dusted, and there's nothing he can do, he might want to get fit for the World Cup, and which Morici might just take his chances then. But yeah, hopefully we'll keep on talking about Morici more and more as these episodes keep piling up. But for a moment now, let's go back to the serious football and talk about the match that shocked both of us, especially considering the teams involved and the winner as well, which was the match between Sevilla and Real Oviedo. Sevilla right up behind me for those who are watching the video podcast. I got Betis and Sevilla in the same place, and also on Rahul's tracksuit as well. Um, 1-0 victory to Real Oviedo. 20th place, Real Oviedo trying to fight to get out of the relegation zone. Sevilla trying to fight to stay out of not fall into the relegation zone. But they're not doing a great job at it because now they are 17th. And what's coming up for them is probably one of the hardest fixture list for a team that is in the bottom half of the table. What is going to happen to Sevilla, Rahul?
You really, really fear for them because they're playing so badly at the moment. And there's a difference between kind of playing badly but getting the results, but
Hmm.
they're not even close to getting results. This is the third time this season alone that they've lost to the side that started the day bottom of the table. That's the same number of times they've done that in the last 20 years. So this has been probably their worst campaign in living memory. And they were pretty lucky last season to kind of pick up the results and not go down. But they were in danger, and they've only gotten worse since. And they're 2 points clear of the bottom 3, and they've got the toughest fixture list out of all of them. They've got to host Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, They've got to go to Villarreal. They've got to host Celta.
Real
They've got to go
Sociedad.
to Levante. And that game against Levante will make or break both teams, I think. If Levante can win, that keeps them, depending on other results, that could potentially see Levante and Sevilla swap places. And I think if Sevilla drop into the bottom three, they're not getting out of it. And the way they played against Oviedo, it's a funny one with Oviedo where we would have said, and I still think they are probably down, but they are the side in the top 5 leagues, the bottom side with the most points. No other team in the top 5 leagues, no other 20th place team or 18th place team has 24 points. Going away to Oviedo, they kept a lot of clean sheets at home all season, and they managed it again against Sevilla. It's one that keeps them within kind of a slight chance of staying up. But going into the game, there were questions of, they're probably down. Will they be motivated to beat Sevilla? And Sevilla should have been the more motivated side to get away from the bottom 3. So so I think it's all gone wrong for Sevilla this season. They sacked Almeida just at the start of the international break. They brought in Luis Garcia Plaza, who is an experienced manager, but as Thanos once said, if you call failure experience. And
wow, okay. Where did that reference come from? Wow, okay.
And it sounds harsh, but I forgot about Luis Garcia Plaza until I saw he was announced to be a
You
manager.
forgot he existed. He was one of the people wiped off by Thanos.
Well, around the time of the film I'm quoting, Endgame, that was a time where Luis Garcia Plaza had a stint at Villarreal manager in a season where Villarreal was scared of relegation. They nearly dropped down that season. And he only lasted a month, if that. He had 9 games in charge, and correct me if I'm wrong, he won one of them?
One of them only, yeah.
And it was one of the most forgettable stints a Villarreal manager has had. And since then, he's, I think, been to China and back, and he was last at Alaves. Alaves, I think, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is a desperate move from Sevilla. They're thinking, we've got 9 games left, 8 games left, and they need to stay up, and they need a manager who can try and dig them out of it. I don't think he will. I just don't see where what the thought process is behind that kind of appointment. And so far there's been no bounce. At least with some other managers, Quique Sanchez Flores, for example, you see a bit of a bounce, bit of a reaction.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that with Sevilla, and this was meant to be their easiest fixture on paper.
Yeah.
And if they can't even threaten the goal and they're conceding set pieces to Oviedo, to a striker who's not really scoring that much, then what are they going to do against Celta, against Atleti, against Real Madrid? They could feasibly lose 5 or 6 of their remaining games. And they just have to hope that they A, beat Levante to keep Levante away, and B, just gain more points than Elche in that period. But when I watch both teams, I have more faith in Elche. And if they do go down, it will be one of the most shocking relegations in European football history, considering the size of Sevilla, the fact they won the Europa League 3 years ago. We're not talking historically; we're talking in recent memory. They were in the Champions League 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And with the amount of debt they're in, they could be in really big long-term trouble if they do go down. So this is a period now where they have to be fighting for their lives. Their players have to be hearts on their sleeves, bodies on the line every single game, and they haven't shown that they will be. So I do really fear for them.
How much of it do you think is because of the poor choice of, well, I don't know whether to call it poor or what, but there's this pattern with them that they keep on hiring managers and then just like discarding them after a few months. Like it's very quick. Like I think they've had like 7 managers in the last 3 years. Like the only guy that kind of stayed for a long period in the last 7-8 years or was Julian Lopetegui. After that, whoever it was, whether it was Mendelibar or just like we saw Matheus Almeida, the guys before him, they don't stick around for too long. Is Sevilla kind of being very like are they making rushed decisions first in hiring these managers, like desperate decisions, just like we saw with Luis Garcia now? Are they making these rushed decisions, A, with hiring them, and then B, with sacking them? Like, do you give someone a time? Like, if I maybe because I saw the La Liga Netflix documentary, and Jose Luis Mendelibar says, I just won the Europa League with Sevilla, and then half a season later they kicked me out. Maybe give me a time to build with the funds we received and the new team that we can create an identity with. But then he was out the door, and then he won the Conference League with Olympiacos 6 months later. So, what is wrong in Sevilla's desperation in that decision making that they're doing? Because it surely can't be players for that long. Is it the management? Is it the management? I mean, the upper board. Is it the management on the pitch? What do you think about the manager situation?
I think it's a rot from top to bottom, and it's shown in the lack of direction, both from managers and sporting directors, where the rot actually started when Lopetegui was there, when
Hmm.
Monchi was there. There
Hmm.
was a serious decline when they were having a very good season. They were second for a lot of the season. For half the season, there was talk of a title race. The second half of that season, they fell off a cliff, and the results just and it wasn't a steady decline. It was a drop. And Lopetegui then left. Monchi left. Victor
Hmm.
Orta came in, and he really messed things up there with the recruitment, with sacking Mendilibar, with everything that was going on. It wasn't just him; it was also the directors above him, the board, the ownership. It's all been chaos. There's been not a single bit of kind of long-term planning, of direction, of a clear recruitment strategy. And then, yeah, the financial situation, they've been in a rut for a long time, so they haven't had the funds to even if they had a good director now and a
Hmm.
clear transfer strategy, they don't have the money to kind of do anything meaningful. They're looking at free transfers like Alexis Sanchez, kind of
Hmm.
bring him back from the dead. And that's as good as it's going to get for them. That they, yeah, they haven't planned well, they haven't bought well, they haven't sold well.
Hmm.
The quality of the squad from the one that won the Europa League to now has declined massively. They don't even have the kind of personalities of Rakitic, of Ramos, to kind of at least lead the dressing room in a crisis. So it's a club wide problem. You can't really pin it on one individual as much as I'd love to pin on Victor Orta.
Hmm.
But it's a problem that has been there for a long time, even when the results on the pitch were good. Even the season they won the Europa League, they weren't good in La Liga. It almost felt like one that papered over the cracks over
Hmm.
the decline that was going to set in. But yeah, I think you can pinpoint that some of the managers should have been given more time. Some of them should have been given less time. Lopetegui, for example, I think there
Hmm.
was a point where he had to go and he didn't. And I
Hmm.
think Mendilibar at least earned himself the goodwill of being given more time. He won them a European trophy when they shouldn't
Yeah.
have really been in contention. And he is someone who, yeah, he then won another European trophy later. He is a very experienced manager who,
Yeah.
if he was there right now, I'd give him a much bigger chance of
Oh,
staying up than with
definitely.
Luis Garcia. And I don't
Definitely.
mean that as disrespect to Luis Garcia, but I think just everything that has led them to the point of hiring him, it's just desperation, poor planning, a complete lack of direction from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And he's now going to try and get a response from a dressing room that just doesn't seem capable of delivering it.
Yeah, and I was just checking out the list of managers that Sevilla has fired since Julen Lopetegui. So that's first they had Jorge Sampaoli, then Mendelibar, then Diego Alonso came in, Uruguayan, then Quique Sanchez Flores, who we are now talking so highly of regarding his Alaves team. Then it was Garcia Pimenta, right? Las Palmas, Barça B. Then Joaquin Caparros, but I think it was more of an interim decision to just keep him. Then Matias Almeida, just most recently sacked, and now Luis Garcia. So this all happened within less than It's 3.5 years. So October 2022, Lopetegui was fired, and the names I just mentioned have all come in and gone in that time. So something is going on at Sevilla, the way you clearly mentioned. That something needs to change. Some sort of decision making needs to be better. I mean, there has been talks all summer, all winter. I mean, of Sergio Ramos taking over and changing things up at the club. Will that really benefit Sevilla? Will he be able to restore the former glory of Sevilla? It's going to be interesting to see if he really even wants to buy the club after the situation they are in right now. I mean, imagine they go down relegated to La Liga too, and then Ramos buys them, and you know we can talk about Sevilla all day if we want to, but let's lighten the mood a little bit. I think we've analyzed a lot today, and we have kind of really gone in depth with all the European teams and everything. I'm going to bring back something that we did 2 weeks ago, which is a game that already has English roots. It's called Hi, my name is, but in Spanish I call it Yo Soy. And the goal is simple, Rahul. I'm gonna give you three hints related to a player that I have in mind. And you have to guess within two. You only get two chances for the three hints to guess who the player I'm talking about is, right? And after three hints, if you still can't get it, I'm gonna give you a bonus hint, and maybe that will help you. And for the bonus hint, you get an extra chance to say it. But two chances, three hints. The less you can get it, the better. If you can get it in the first hint, even great. Second hint, good. Third, if you still can't get it, then I'll give you the bonus one. So, okay, let's forget all the Sevilla and the Euro for a moment. And I'm going to give you your first hint. Are you ready for Yo Soy? That was me doing a jingle the for the segment. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, hint number one. I scored on my debut appearance in a top 5 league right after I moved.
In the top 5 leagues, not
In a
necessarily La
top
Liga.
5 league. Yeah.
Okay, next hint.
Okay, next in. One, one of my transfer moves is what can be described as a career revival.
I've got an inkling of who this might be.
You could take a guess or you could hear the greatest third hint of all time.
I'm gonna take a guess before the
Okay.
third hint.
Okay, well, third hint is one of the greatest hints of all time that I've written down. So, you could take two. I mean, I can't let you take two guesses for the same hint. So you can take one guess now, and then if you're wrong, then you can take the second guess on the third hint. But it's the
Okay,
greatest hint ever, though.
I'll take one guess now before this hint.
Okay, okay, go
Alexander
for it.
Pato.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay, you're wrong. No, that's not good. Good guess, though. Good guess. But are you ready for the third hint?
Yeah, now I am.
Be very. This is think like how it was in the previous round as well, right? When we did the Ferran Torres one. Hint number three. I am severely offended by straight lines.
A straight line.
Straight lines. Now think of it. I don't want to go straight. I'm offended by straight lines. Why should I go on? Why should I take a ball and go straight?
Five straight lines. What was the second hint?
Uh,
Scored on his top
Scored
5
on
league
my top 5 league debut. One of my transfer moves is what can be described as a career revival. I am offended by straight lines. Don't take it too seriously. The third hint, it's meant to be a joke kind of way to kind of. The
It's not.
first two hints, huh?
It's not Ronaldinho, is it?
No, 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 no. But good guess. Good, really good guess. Really good
Like,
guess.
he always goes
Yeah,
in
no,
and
no.
out.
You're kind of getting there. You're kind of getting. I think the last bonus hint will probably paint the picture perfectly for you. So, bonus hint. Are you ready? My favorite song lyrics are "You spin me right round, baby, right round." Think of it now. Come on. You want me to repeat the hints?
Yeah, top 5 league
Okay.
date.
I scored on my debut appearance in the top 5 league just after I moved. One of my transfer moves is what can be described as a career revival. I am offended by straight lines, and related to this, my favorite lyrics are "You spin me right round, baby, right round." Think of the key words here in the lyrics.
There's so many players popping into my mind right now. And I reckon it's someone so obvious as
I
well.
mean, it will be, I think, in a way, because you have to focus on the key word in the lyrics and the last two hints. The first two hints are very like serious, formal. It's not you can't really. It's a white umbrella, but the last two hints kind of paint a good picture when I think about spin me right round.
Spin, spin, spin. Riquelme?
Nah, you run out of options. You run out of options.
Oh, this is killing me.
I think I will reveal the answer now. But just before I reveal the answer for people watching on YouTube, I think the answer was right here in front of you. Betis, Spain, Manchester United,
Anthony.
first goal. Arsenal, yeah. Anthony is the correct answer. That's why I wore a Betis jersey. I thought it will like kind of like give you some visual cues, kind of like push your mind towards the right direction. It is Anthony. I scored on my debut appearance. Scored for Man United against Arsenal on his debut. His transfer move, that's a career revival, is when he moved to Real Betis after almost finishing his career at Man United, where he was labeled a flop. He was labeled that a waste of money. Then he came to Betis and became an icon in Sevilla. I'm offended by straight lines. Spin. He doesn't want to go straight. I mean, that's why I put the lyrics there, because I knew if I put the lyrics, it will kind of give you an idea. I'm offended by straight lines, and my favorite lyrics are "You spin me right round, baby, right round."
I kept, for some reason, I don't know why, because you never actually said that it wasn't a current player, and I kept
That's
thinking,
why.
right, currently.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say it. I think if I said it, it would have been a bit too obvious. But next time, from next week onwards, I will make it obvious to say if he's currently playing in La Liga or if he is a former player who has some ties to La Liga. But good attempts. I like it. Pato, Riquelme, Ronaldo. That's why when you said Ronaldinho, I was like, okay, you're getting close. Brazilian flair, skills, you're getting close. Then you move to Riquelme. So, good job, bro.
Yeah,
Good
I
job.
kept thinking career revival, and like kind of when Pato went to Villarreal, that was a little
Mm,
bit of a like it was his return,
yeah.
and yeah, Ronaldinho kind of
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know where he was hard, but he was moving around
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
And Riquelme leaving Barca to go to Villarreal was a
Mm,
huge revival,
yeah.
and I was thinking skill, I was thinking kind of big name,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and it didn't occur to me that it was
yeah.
Anthony, and I feel like an absolute melon
Nah,
right
nah,
now.
nah. It's good. It was good. I purposefully made the third hint a bit vague so it could relate to the bonus hint. But hey, good job, man. Good job. See, that's why don't take this game too serious. I know you're thinking like Alexander Pato and Riquelme and all those things that they had. And the simple answer is Anthony because he's spinning all the time. You know, he's got that famous Anthony spin. So I was going to put like fidget spinner and other like keywords, but that would have been too obvious. So I just put lyrics of the song. But yeah, good job with the great answers. And next week I will test you again. Maybe we'll have a different game, but this game is quite popular, I would say, and maybe you will have better luck in the next week's episode. But with that being said, I think that wraps up episode number 6 of the Tiki Tapas podcast. Today we covered everything from European previews, all 16s who are playing in Spain, playing in Europe from Spain. We focused on Celta, Rayo, and Betis in depth. Rayo with the striker problems. Celta, of course, whom you watched play yesterday against Valencia. And Betis, also not that impressive over the weekend when they faced Espanyol. We had our moment of the week, really one of the best moments of the week, if you just say in terms of the impact, emotional impact of that with Muriqi's goal and the whole emotional aspect of it. And that we dissected Sevilla and the problems that Sevilla has been going through. Um, and then you missed out on a quiz that we were so close, but as always, next time this podcast is not going anywhere. Next Monday again, we'll be back trying to pick on Rahul's brains again. But yeah, that does it for this episode, Rahul. Wonderful chat, wonderful episode leading up to the Champions League and Europa League and the Conference League nights.
Yeah, the international break is now over. It's now relentless football for the next few months, and we will be here to cover it.
Exactly. And just in case you forgot, this time we will not tell you that we'll be soon on Spotify. We are on Spotify. We know. Now we will be sharing 2 links on our social media. So whichever one you prefer, whether you want to see us or whether you just want to hear us, the choice is yours. We will keep coming at you every Monday evening Spanish time. Next week, what are we gonna talk about? We don't know yet. So many storylines change in Spain every day. Maybe there's gonna be an upset somewhere in Europe. Maybe we'll have to focus on some sacking, some hiring. We don't know what's gonna happen next Monday. All we know is we're gonna be in front of our cameras. We're gonna be wearing our Spanish football jerseys or whatever football jerseys, and we're gonna have our mics and our notes and our cameras ready and set to go. And we will see you in the next one. Hasta luego. But as always, Rahul, with your Spanish, take us off the air.
Hasta pronto.
Hasta pronto. Hasta la próxima lunes. Ciao. Thank you for joining in. See you next week. Bye bye.